always ask this question, and yeah, really. I mean, I guess it kind of just came to me. I mean, kind of like sauce is like a very trending word right now. Like this year, like in even the last year or so,
it's resurging again.
it is definitely. But I mean, this is something I always thought of like sauce as like, you know, your sauce, like your swag, like
yeah.
You know, I always that's what it always meant to me. Like way before it even became as relevant as it is now. And I mean, stank. That's that funk, like, you know. Ugh, you know, you ever smell something and you just go, ugh, like, you know, that could be good too, you know, like
ooh, that was stank.
Ooh, stank sauce. What, you know? That just sounds like something funky. And like, you know, we grew up listening to a lot of different types of music, but my dad was a really big fan of like Parliament, Funkadelic, like all of that. That's really that's the music that I remember, like as a kid. Like if I didn't want to remember
so
it,
straight
I can't.
Up P-Funk.
Yeah, that's what's like engraved like in my brain, pretty much. That, so it's all related. Like this is like the new P-Funk. Like
I like it.
Oh, dope.
I like it, except it's called the new stank sauce.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now I saw when you all were in China and your parents came to visit. I thought that was super dope how they came out and supported you all. So how are they just like you mentioned your dad was like P-Funk and stuff like that, like how do they support you guys in this endeavor?
Yeah.
Well, they support us no matter what we do.
They're our biggest fans.
Yeah, they're definitely our biggest fans no matter what we're doing. So it was like a pleasure for us to like fly them out there and enjoy the sights. You know, we were out with our mom, we were out with our dad. We went to see the Great Wall of China with both of our parents at different times.
And
it was amazing.
Was it great?
It was amazing. It was amazing. Like it's a hike to get through it because it's like it was built like I don't know how they built that thing because it was a hike to get through it and walk amongst the path on the Great Wall of China, no matter depending on how long you're trying to walk it. But like just being there and like looking at the sights and like looking at like wow, this is the Great Wall of China.
Yeah,
right?
They literally built a wall on the foothills of a great mountain.
Yes. So like that was amazing. So we went to what else was it? The Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah.
It was like
Temple of Heaven.
The Temple of Heaven. It
the Forbidden City.
Forbidden City, like where the emperors reigned and had control of the economy and environment. We walked where the emperors walked. We walked where ancient Chinese happenings were going on, and it was just an amazing thing to be a part of. Like you had to thank God every day. That's what I did. I woke up, prepared for the show. That was another thing, like to prepare for 6 nights a week, playing at this hotel, like back to back, day to day, but still being like, wow, this is an amazing event for me to be a part of. Like this is an amazing thing to be a part of. Like the glue that put us all together was just like knowing that we all played a part.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So these cultural experiences you've had, how do you feel like it has changed your songwriting process or your performances, or your live performances?
Well, for me, it gave me the discipline, like doing like I said, 6 nights a week, every day. You're performing. It's like you have to be on time to these different places. It gave me the discipline to really sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to write something today. You know, I'm going to like make this a whole thing. Like if I have a melody in my head, I can't just leave it in there. Like it has to at least go on my phone as a voice memo or something like that for later on, so it could become something. That's how any of the songs that we've done have pretty much been created like that. You know, like if it's in your head, it's gotta get out. Because if it stays there, it's gonna disappear into nothingness and you'll never have it again.
Yeah. For me, it's kind of pretty much the same thing, but like it's all a process, pretty much. Like, yeah, performing every day is tough. Like, but as artists, I mean, we're telling ourselves, okay, we want to be artists. We want to go on tour. Like, this is, to me, it's a version of that, or at least practice for it. If it's not
boot camp.
Yeah. It's like, you know, I'm imagining doing a performance and then hopping on a plane, flying to a different city. Maybe we might not have a chance to eat a real meal or take a real shower. Then you got to get on stage and perform somewhere else. Like, if anything, this is like real deal training for that. I mean, because this doesn't, stop with just that. I mean, there'll be more things in the foreseeable future. So it's like, we won't be so like shocked of how to deal with that. Because like artists, just from studying the artists that we like and even reading about them over time, like people go through all these things just because they don't know how to deal with like being on the road, being away from their family, like all these things. And hey, we've had all of those like experiences, really. Yeah, we've been through all of those things. So now it's like we know what to do and what not to do. Like you said, discipline is the main thing that I think we all probably took back from that.
Yeah, and I had to piggyback off what you said, because it does take a lot of discipline, because I'm beginning to travel, and so you kind of have to, you know, leave your cuteness, you know what I'm saying? Because like when you are on the road and you've been on the road for a number of hours, and then you have to get off the road and go do a sound check, you know, change your clothes and different things like that, you do have to kind of, you know, discipline yourself to say, you know, pack your things and night, you know what I mean? It's like
everything has to be really intentional.
It really, you have to be intentional. And I think, you know, sometimes that's a mistake that we make, you know, just speaking on some of the habits that we inherit, meaning, you know, you have to be professional to be successful, and you have to carry a certain mindset in order to continue on, to be for longevity, you know. And I feel like short term is sloppiness is short term.
Oh yeah.
You know, but when you build that discipline to really stay focused and to say, okay, I have to do this.
Oh, you preaching today.
I
That's
have
for
to.
somebody.
You know,
That's
even
Oh,
I mean,
real.
even when we talk about calling people back, you know, or you
Keeping
know,
your
different
word.
things like keeping your, because listen, you would have never booked that gig if it's something in you, it was intentional, like you made those callbacks or whatever your process was, you know, you stayed on those people, you know, you followed up, and you know, because there's something in you that says, okay, this is what I'm purposed to do. And so when we understand this is a part of our purpose in our journey, it makes it a lot, you know, it makes it a lot more for you to pressing for you to get it done.
No,
Yeah.
That's you brought up a good point. Like, a part of the thing that people don't see is like you sitting there sending out emails, like you spending the whole day like calling people, trying to get, you know, some information. Like, that's what people don't see. They only see like you going the gig that's happening, but it took you know.
So let me take you guys back a little bit, because you know I have about 2 books. I have one book, Everything You Want to Know About the Music Business. That is my Bible to this day still.
That's it.
It's my music Bible. Like, I still use it as reference. There's stuff that I learned in that book that I will always use. As an independent artist, I was one of the first independent artists, because that wasn't a thing, because most people were being signed. For whatever reason, I was afraid. When I was your age, I had fear. I was crippled with fear, and I allowed my time in corporate America to think, you know, like, oh, I go to this job, and this 9-to-5 job or 8-to-5 or whatever, and I sit in this cubicle, and then I hustle afterwards, when you can't really do that, right? After what? You don't have anything left. So what I'm saying all that to say is I admire your tenacity, because a lot of individuals, a lot of the older artists, those individuals that actually did get the record labels, they don't have the skills to actually do all the work. That comes with an A&R team, the publicist, the PR guy, marketing team. You got somebody doing all your graphic design. I did that stuff by myself. I was the one that actually shopped my very first CD before CD Baby was a thing.
Right.
Yeah. And most people don't realize that. And now you can literally have your WAV files and upload them to a server, and in 30 minutes, your whole album, you can specify a date and it's released in a touch of a finger. And they make it easy. However, I think now social media is making it more difficult for people, because we have to then do the work with the social media. You have to, now we're all vying because it's so easy. The platforms are easy. We all are vying for this attention now. And everybody's like, oh, see me, see what I got going on. I got this, everybody's like, ah. And there's like content, just flooding with just content overload, and so many images, so many ideas, so many things. And how being that you guys are young and you figured out the hard work, the blood, sweat, and equity that you put in, how do you do that? How do you maintain that now? How does Stank Sauce do that?
And we just try to keep cool.
That's a loaded question. I know, fellas. I know.
Yeah, but I mean, we understand that things take time and everything is a process, but also, because we're able to do certain things, it's like okay, this happened. All right, that means I can reach for this next thing. You do get a certain amount of reassurance from achieving your goals, like being from Jacksonville and having gone overseas anywhere is like a big deal to me, you know, and we try to, so
to really anyone, because most people, especially in African American culture, don't have those opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, like, outside of the military, pretty much, yeah, and having,
cruise,
or yeah, you know, and having been able to figure out that one thing, I mean, that's amazing to me. So it's like, okay, I know there's more. I know we can do more. There is more.
So it sounds like you have a lot of tenacity, a lot of drive, and that's what keeps you going.
Yeah, totally.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we're gonna take a quick break. I understand you guys are ready to play some live music, right?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, can we ask a question?
Oh, sure. I mean, we've been asking questions all along. I mean,
we want to ask personal questions.
Okay.
Oh, Blue, we on the same way.
I was not on the wavelength this time.
That's all right.
You go. I'm gonna let you go. Ladies first.
Okay. So, you guys are very good looking.
Oh, thank you.
Pecan brown. Ladies, they're pecan brown.
That's right.
They have locks.
What's the keys? I gotta put on my Key Sweat voice.
Okay. So I want to know, are you all available, like single?
Oh, whoa! I want to hear this.
You know, what the ladies, you know, do you have time for a lady night? They sweat. Hey, listen, I just want y'all to know that Jawren moved the mic over here.
I'm on the spot.
He pushed it over. But we're going to go back to Jawren.
We're going to push the mic back to him for this one. I'm not seeing anybody. My thing is, we're young men, but I'm getting a little bit older. As far as like the party scene, so for me, I don't party except with them.
But you looking, or you waiting?
I'm chilling. Like
he's in his own lane right now. He's in his lane.
Okay, what does that mean? Let's talk about that chilling.
It means,
what does that mean? Is that a Netflix and chill, or is that a if it happens, it happens?
If it happens, it happens. You know, I'm not actively looking for anything specific. Like, I mean, I do think about marriage. I do think about those kind of things. I do think about like having kids, but it's got to be natural. I can't just be like, I'm available for it, you know, because this is the music is number one. that's the number one for me.
So ladies, hear that. When you approach, understand the music is number one.
It's gonna be.
It's his first love.
We're gonna talk about that later. All this, okay.
I mean, music is a first love.
Balance.
I mean, the music, the poetry. You know, I mean, that's how I know Blue. You know, through poetry, spoken word, just the art. I'm an artist, so like if I can't be an artist with you, then I can't be with you.
Okay. Now I'm gonna put this mic right back over there.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, clear that throat. Clear that throat.
Clear his throat.
Let me clear my throat.
Ooh, he sound like he in a situation. He in a situation. He looking at his friend. You
don't have to answer this question.
No, I can't. I'm
You don't
cool.
have to
No,
answer
that's
it.
okay. No, I'm like technically single. Like, you know.
I like that word technically because it's a really great
I
adverb.
don't have a girlfriend. I don't have one. I have friends that I chill with. Some are closer than others. Some are closer than others.
Right.
I like that.
I love it.
He gonna get a dating award from the Take the Five.
Listen. So this is.
Oh, you look like you want to say something over there, Jacob?
I don't want to say nothing to you.
No, I mean, I just turned 28 last week. You know, so
Happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. So I mean, I know what's out here. Like the thing is, I've had a lot of experience. I know how young I am, but I've been through a lot of stuff. Like already, like having traveled, being on the road. Like I was on the road, like with different groups and all throughout college. I mean, I've been through almost every city in Florida. Like I don't know. I'm just single right now, but when I do, like he's saying, like I really do believe in like marriage, like very strongly. So I don't take any of those things like lightly, you know.
Yeah.
So
Like when you're ready for that commitment, you're gonna be ready.
I'll be 100% and 25% committed.
So chill, bro. I'm good with chilling. Chill.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah, don't rush.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like that, MJ? She gave me these
I
eyes.
love it.
Like, don't be helping them.
No, I'm not saying that because I think you guys should be in relationships or anything, but I do think it's, I think it's important. You guys are good looking guys.
Thank you.
And I see you all out. I do know you have groupies.
Yes.
So you're not implying that you're trying to get them hitched?
No.
Okay. All right.
No,
I just wanted to clarify that.
Because you know what? I know they're not ready. I know they're not. You know what I mean?
How can you can tell?
I can smell it on you. And what I'm saying is because of the conversations that we've had, also because you all have a good example. So when you have a good example, you don't jump into anything. It's like when you have a good foundation, you don't normally jump into things. It's like you kind of have an idea of what it takes. So that's all.
I'd agree with that. Like, we definitely not playing around like with any of that.
No, okay, you can take this out, but okay. So I think this is my thoughts. Like I feel like you are very upfront. Mm-hmm. I don't think you play games. You know what I'm saying?
I say if I want something, I'm gonna let you know.
Right.
Because some are friends, and some are there, some are close, and technically I'm still single.
He got the inner court and the outer court, as they say.
Some here, some there. I like that.
And it's like, and me and Jawren, we've had conversations, and and I've actually walked up to Jawren and said, "Leave that alone."
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Really?
It's not good enough.
I remember that.
Because he's such a sacred soul, you know what I'm saying? He's very sensitive, and and it's like when he loves.
Yeah.
And so, you just don't want any, type of chick with him,
Yeah.
Not saying, Jawren, that, but I think you'll handle yours.
Yeah, but we all, yes. But we
because
all
technically,
keep that.
Technically,
some are friends.
But we all come from the same thing. I mean, like I've been in a few terrible relationships. Like I've been in some that I wish I, you know, that I drug along that, you know, I should have just ended, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I've learned from all of those things. Like to this day, I know at least what I shouldn't do, you know, and what what not to be. He laughing because he knows, you know, and I'm so, like, I don't keep, like, all my stuff is, like, very exposed, like, all the time. Like, everyone pretty much always sees what I got going on, because I don't hide, like, what I'm doing. Like, it's going to, especially as an artist, I feel like it's easier to just, like, accept yourself and just who you are. Like,
that's good. Let's go ahead and put a period there. Next question.
Technically, my question, I like that. What I wanted to say was, you know, like MJ Baker is very talented. Damien, you know, everybody in here has a lot of energy, a lot of creativity. Did y'all plan to be where y'all at now, like to have this band? Because the reason why I want to say that, maybe 15 years ago when I first met Jawren, he was part of this. Oh man, I'm talking about a powerhouse poetry team. What was the name of it?
Not Secret
With
Sauce.
the-
It was
with Matthew Cubitt.
Shout
Shout
out.
Man, I'm gonna tell y'all. I mean, I think y'all was like what, 16, 17?
Yeah, I was like 17.
It was so crazy because I kind of watched him particularly grow up on the poetry scene. And when I first heard him, I think it was at Boomtown, and I used to come up to him every time. I said, "Man, Jawren, you need to do your own thing. You need to do your own port." Because I used to be like, I see everybody would do release parties. I would do the pictures. I would do the cover. But Jawren would be so supportive of all the other artists. Like, he put his time in.
That's his energy. That's his style, though.
And I used to be like, "Man, why don't you do your own thing?" And that's how I knew him. Because I used to always be like, "Hey, man, I don't know, you don't know." Because at the time I didn't know him. But my relationship was with Seven and Matthew Cuban. Yeah. But so when I would see him, I mean, at 17, using words I never even heard of, and I think I was just I'm probably like 8. I'm 38. How old are you now?
I'm 29.
Yeah, so I'm 10 years older. So I was like blown away by his vernacular, his poetry. Like, I'm like, what? This dude was 17, like blown away. And I would just be like, "Man, do your own thing, do your own thing." I think that if he would have did his own thing back then, I think he'd be light years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not that he's nowhere now, but I'm just saying, like, he was like,
that's true,
mind blown. But he was just always, and I think he's, you know what? To me, I think he came out of his shell when he started working with the kids. Because I noticed a shift in his spirit, his aura. Like, him working with kids, I was like, you know, that's good for him. Because I think he saw himself in them kids. And then I noticed he started grinding. He was more open, more vocal. I would hear him talk more, perform more. And so anyway, so back to my question. And also, the reason why I wanted to bring up your brother, it was my first time dealing with, like, taking pictures of a man, like, you know, in a way where they be very creative. Because I used to always be, like, very standoffish with men. Because, you know, with men, taking pictures of them, like, with their shirts off and this and that. Yeah. And so it was a very new experience for me, because I would always take pictures of women. And if I did take a picture of a man, it was, like, quick, rapper. But he gave me the opportunity to be very creative, and he just be himself. And when I met him, it was just his energy, and I just was like, "Whoa, okay." So I need to start working more with men. But at that time, I would just love photographing women. And when I met him, it was just like he just was bringing a lot out of me. So I got a